always been keen on the sons of Tappet. We've done well with him. He's broken out quite well. He's a beautiful mover, potentially a really nice two-turn horse going forward. We're really kind of very fond of him.
We bought the Tappert filly out of the Blue Eyes in the Rain filly at the Keeneland sale. What we really liked about her was obviously her physique. We liked the way she moved, and we just fell in love with her from the start, really.
Tappert, standing at Gainesway.
Hi, everybody. Dan Illman, Mike Beer, the DRF race of the day for Saturday, April the 2nd, race number 14 at Gulfstream Park. It's the Grade 1, $1 million Florida Derby. 3-year-olds hoping to take their final step to Churchill Downs, and the first Saturday in May, the Kentucky Derby. We're going 1 1/8 miles. Let's take a look at this field. Our coverage is presented by Gainesway, home of the super sire Tappet, and Tappet might be on a Triple Crown trail again, Mike. The 6 Charge It is by Tappet with a big pedigree for Todd Pletcher.
Yeah, big pedigree. Stepping, way up in class here, Dan, off of a maiden win, but he's looked pretty good in both of his starts so far.
This is a strong renewal of the Florida Derby. You've got the Tampa Bay Derby winner, the Holy Bull winner, the Fountain of Youth winner, the runner-up in last year's Breeders' Cup Juvenile. You can see all their free past performances by downloading your Formulator past performances on the Race of the Day event page at drf.com. Access them, handicap along with us, and play this entire Gulfstream stakes-laden card on Saturday with your DRF Bets account. Let's take a look at the Timeform U.S. Pace Projector. Classic Causeway has made his money on the lead in his last couple of races, and I think they got to take advantage of post position 2 and take it to the lightly raced Charge It.
Yeah, I agree with this Pace Projector too. I think they're going to be moving right along early in this race, and I do think Classic Causeway is going to be on the lead.
Number 1 is Strike Hard. Now, Strike Hard, I think, has run some underrated races in his last 2. He was wired in the Mucho Macho Man by Simplification. I thought he was ridden a bit tentatively in that race. And then in the Sam F. Davis, tough outside post. Classic Causeway got the jump on him. He passed some tired horses late. His pace is going to be fast, and he got a good inside post.
Yeah, this is the long shot I'm using in this race. Dan, I mean, the favorites all look pretty strong in here. This is the long shot I'm using in this race. I did not care for the Tripper ride that he got 2 starts back in the Mucho Macho Man. And I mean, what chance did he have last time, Dan, with Classic Causeway controlling? This horse was stuck wide every step of the way in there. I thought he stayed on pretty well for 4th. I'm using this horse.
The number 2, Classic Causeway, a multiple graded stakes winner. He might have taken one of the paths of least resistance thus far on the Derby trail at Tampa Bay Downs, but he looked good winning the Davis and the Tampa Bay Derby. Let's watch the ladder race on March the 12th. And Abarrio just put this horse right on the lead, and he was traveling very sweetly throughout. He draws off to win, 84 buyer speed figure. He'll have to run a little bit faster. He's done it in the past.
Yeah, he's going to have to run a faster race here. He does look like a horse who has an awful lot of talent, though, Dan. We'll see if he can go a little bit faster on the lead against some better horses, because these are better horses than what he's been beating at Tampa. And then just still run one of his good races. I think he can do it. I think he's a naturally talented horse. He's very fast early. He's great from the gate. So I do think he's going to make the early lead in here. And I think he's a very, very dangerous horse in this race.
As is the number 3, Simplification. This horse beat Strike Hard when going gate to wire in the Mucho Macho Man, and then perhaps a disaster in the Holy Bull. He broke slowly, but he showed a lot of grit and determination to rally for second behind White Abarrio, and he showed that new running style works perfectly for him. Let's watch the Fountain of Youth last time out. He was kind of in and among horses on the backstretch. He got in the clear. He avoided a spill turning for home, and okay, he doesn't change leads. That's kind of him, but he got the job done nonetheless.
Yeah, he did, and he gets the job done relatively easily too, Dan. Listen, I'm running out of ways to knock this horse. I've not been a big fan of it. I didn't like him that much at all in the Fountain of Youth. He won very easily. I've very clearly been wrong about this horse. If he wins the Florida Derby on Saturday, I'm going to be wrong again. I'm betting somebody else.
King of Truth is up next, the number 4. This horse could be a big price, and deservedly so. He's moving from turf to dirt. He was beaten in starter allowance races on turf and synthetic in his last 2. And, well, 3 starts back, he got beat a country mile by Strike Hard.
Yeah, I mean, obviously connections are just taking a shot here. He's very hard to make a case for.
Papa Cap, the number 5, was a Grade 2 stakes winner as a 2-year-old sprinting, was second in both the American Pharaoh and Breeders' Cup Juvenile to Champion Corniche, and he's making his third start of the form cycle here. Maybe he's rounding himself back into form, although that Risen Star was a disappointing performance. I know he faced Epicenter, arguably the current Derby favorite, came back to win the Louisiana Derby with a 102 buyer, but he was up close to that moderate pace, just didn't have anything in the stretch.
Yeah, he didn't run well last time. That's got to be some kind of a concern because it was hard to see what his excuse would be based on the trip that he got in there. The good news for him, I guess, Dan, is that prior to that, he was just very consistent. He was running races. They're going to put him in the mix here. And he's just got such good tactical speed. You just sort of watch his prior races. Forget about the last one. You watch his prior races and feel like you get that kind of a trip at Gulfstream Park. It's really, perfect stuff to be up close, saving a lot of ground. He gets that kind of trip. He can rebound it in a big way here.
Charge It's the number 6, and Todd Pletcher's going to ask a lot, and only his third lifetime start. He's going to stretch him all the way out to 1 1 1/8. His first race around 2 turns, his first race against winners, but boy is he bred by Super Gainesway stallion Tappet, the dam, a half to 3 Grade 1 winners, including a Florida Derby winner. Just watch the way this horse won his maiden last time out, going a 1-turn mile. He bounced out to make the lead. He made the lead very easily. It was not a fast pace, but he just coasts on home in the manner of a horse that looks like a stakes horse. Now, he's likely going to have to go faster in the early portion of this race, and it's unlikely he'll make the lead from Classic Causeway. We'll find out how good he is.
Yeah, it's a real big test for this horse because he doesn't find a soft Florida Derby. He's just looked really good, I think, in both of his starts. He ran really well first time out, also while giving away a lot of experience to the horse that wound up beating him. They were well clear of the rest of that field. He ran really well last time too, Dan. Not only just doing it really easy, but he was going on. It sort of looks like more distance is no problem for this horse.
White Abarrio hasn't run a bad race yet. The number 7 is 3-1 on the morning line. He won the Holy Bull in his one and only start at 3. Let's watch that race. And once Simplification didn't break, it allowed White Abarrio to get forwardly placed. He made the lead with no fuss at all, turning into the stretch. And he kind of turns this race into a little bit of a procession, Mike. 97 Buyers speed figure, beat 2 next out winners. And Safi Josephs had a plan. He wanted a fresh horse coming into the Florida Derby. He's got one.
Yeah, true enough. He ran really well in this race too. He did in just about every way have all the best of it in there, Dan. He got a great trip in that race, and you saw there just really no one closing behind him. Not that he necessarily gave anybody a real chance to catch him. He ran well last time. I'm going to, sort of stand against him a little bit here, if only because if they go fast, I think it's at least worth pointing out the one time they tried to sit with this horse at Churchill Downs 2 starts back, he did not run well. It wasn't a terrible performance, but it wasn't close to his best race when they had to sit with him.
Cajun's Magic is up next. I'm a fan of this little Florida bred. I thought he ran well 2 starts back in his final start at 2 when beaten. In the Holy Bull, he was up close to the pace, and he just kind of tired at the end. He tried his best. Considering it was his first start since September, I thought it was an okay effort. Perhaps he can build off of it. He's going to have to.
Yeah, he is going to have to, but I think you're right. There's no reason to think that he can't do a little bit better in this spot. And he's another horse who's going to be a big price in here.
Oh, Captain just had a lousy post position in the Fountain of Youth, breaking from post position 11, going 1 1/16 at Gulfstream. That is no picnic. And understandably, Javier Castellano took him back to last, tried to make one run, and he did make a little bit of a run at the end to finish 3rd. Now, the pace might be solid again. This horse is all upside, and I like the work he did at Gulfstream last year as a 2-year-old.
Yeah, just because he's so lightly raced, I guess you could sort of hold out hope that he'll take another step forward. You have to talk about the Fountain of Youth, Dan, and, where he ran the 88 and got 3rd. There was a spill at the top of the stretch that eliminated a bunch of horses in front of him. And it's also worth noting that he just sat there while basically the whole field took shots at the lead around the 2nd turn. It was an opportunistic 3rd, but it was still a step in the right direction.
Step up in class for the 10 Clapton, who won a stake-bred entry-level allowance race last time out, going 7/8. Let's watch that performance right now. He was able to get closer to the pace, probably because the pace wasn't very hot, and he is able to stride home nicely. Now, on paper, he was supposed to win this race, and he did so. Career best buyer speed figure of 80, but a tough post, added distance, and a giant hike in class.
Yeah, there's just so much working against this horse. He runs fine in the replay we're watching right now, but even if he runs that race back, he's nowhere in this field.
Completing the field is a son of Constitution named Steel Sunshine, who's coming off a runner-up effort in an entry-level allowance race on March the 2nd. Let's watch that race. This race featured a blazing pace up front. Steel Sunshine just hung out at the back of the pack, is going to pick up some pieces to run second. The 6th place horse who was up on this pace came back to rebound with a big win in a stakebred stake at Tampa with a 92 buyer. Boy, this horse, I think, was helped by the pace in this spot.
Yeah, he was, and he, does his very best with it to be second in here. He has taken steps forward with every start so far, but he's just in way over his head against this field.
Real good field for this year's edition of the Florida Derby. Let's take a look at our top pick. And in Todd we trust. I think Chargett's been very, very impressive in his 2 races. Yes, this is a huge step up in class, and he's going to have to step up in distance. I just love the way he won that last race.
I did too. We'll see. I wouldn't take too short a price on him here, Dan, but I just didn't want, simplification again. I'm done knocking that horse. I just don't want to bet him back in this race. The other horse for me was Classic Causeway. I think he's going to go to the front.
I respect White Abarrio a lot. I think he's going to run a good race. I want to use him with the Pletcher horse. 6-2-3-1 for Mike, 6-7-3-9 for me. It's the Grade 1 Florida Derby. Our coverage presented by Gainesway.